My name is Serenity, and you have tuned in to Rant You, which is a podcast dedicated to ranting about some of the pressing issues that are occurring currently in society. And it's sad. First, a little about me. I'm 41. I work as a technical support supervisor for a major corporation. I have been married for 9 years. I have no children. My husband is also employed as a technical support professional. We are both Army veterans. And we basically just go about our lives, doing our work, paying our taxes, and we really don't bother a whole lot of people. Obviously, though, people are still bothered by we are bothered by a lot of things. So, my husband suggested, instead of boring him to death with it, that I bore you guys. Thus, this podcast was born. And I have a lot to say, because we have more than our fair share of straight ignorance that is happening in our society now. And I am more than happy to speak upon it. It's ridiculous. I can't even begin to express the amount of ridiculousness involved with today's society. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, so we are having our own issues as far as illegal immigration is concerned. We have a couple of pieces of legislation that are coming down the pike that involve cleaning out all of the illegal immigrants. We've got a lot of problems. We've got a recession, and if you don't think it's a recession, then let me lead you to the lighthouse of the blind so that you can get a room, because it is happening. We have poor education standards in this country. The health care reform is another hot button issue. It's just so many things that are not wrong, but that are pushing people's buttons. And the way people are responding to this pisses me off. So I am ranting about it simply because I love my husband and he doesn't want to hear about it anymore. And I just have to express it because it's absolutely ridiculous the way people are responding to these things. I can't even believe it. Can't. And it seems to me that the people who are responding in the most negative and most aggressive way are people who are not the least bit affected by this in any way. Are people who I just don't even believe it. I don't. So I'm going to talk about it. And I hope that you guys will join me in talking about it. You can contact me on my website at any time, which is rantyou.net. Rant, RANTYOU.net. For those of you who may have been part of the No Child Left Behind program, who always seem to have very strong opinions about things and want to get on websites and respond, but don't seem to have the grammatical nor educational skills to actually do so in a manner that is, So for those of you who fit into that camp, Tea Party folks, then please, by all means, RANTYOU.net. Or you can email me at ms.rant@rantyou.net. And I cannot wait to get into it because I just I keep up with what's going on as far as political and social discourse, and the gentleman from Utah, Senator Orrin Hatch, has just proposed a bill calling for the drug testing of all unemployed people, people receiving unemployment benefits, you know, and that be a, I don't know, a stipulation for them receiving their unemployment benefits. What I want to know is who the hell is going to pay for this? What the hell is that about? Don't you have something better to do? Like, look, check what's going on in Afghanistan, maybe? Or check what's going on in Utah with all the... Yeah, so now you can see why I have the show. So, when we come back, I will be ranting about why in the hell is this man trying to make drug testing a stipulation of unemployment benefits. Really? We've got problems, folks. I'll be right back. We are back with the Rant You podcast, and when last I left you, I was ranting about the gentleman from Utah, Senator Orrin Hatch, who has asked for people who are on unemployment insurance and welfare to begin getting drug tested in order to qualify for benefits. Really, folks? Really? And I read about this on CBSNews.com, credible news source, not some tinfoil hat whack job off the beaten path website. So the fact that I read it there, and I will provide that on my website, the link to the news story, just made me think, is this man finally ready for retirement himself? Perhaps he should be on the unemployment line and we can get him on the government dole, because as you know, congressmen and women are paid into iniquity until the day of their death, a retirement, and you know, so should they, in order to qualify for their quote-unquote benefits, maybe we should just ask them to submit to some type of drug testing or what have you. And who is paying for this? Certainly not Orrin Hatch. The American taxpayer is paying for this. And it's ridiculous. What is this possibly doing for his constituents in Utah? How is this benefiting them in any way? How is it benefiting the American people? It's not benefiting anyone. This is just more bait and switch, because instead of doing the job that he is being paid to do and that he was elected to do, which is to find a way out of this economic mess that our country finds us in, he's blaming the people who have been victimized and who have been directly affected by this crap. And it's utter... You know what it is. So, you know, I'm like, what the frack, dude? Really? It doesn't make any sense. And who on the unemployment? I don't understand. People seem to think unemployment, oh, people who get unemployment are just sitting on their butt and they're not blah, 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 blah. People don't make anything on unemployment. I know here in Arizona, unemployment is like $260 $300 a week, $300 a week. I'm not sure of the figures because I don't receive it and have never received it, so I don't know. I'd be happy for the next podcast if somebody wants to write in and say, well, do you know the exact figures? I'll be happy to provide that. But believe me, it's not even at minimum wage. It's not even enough to keep a family afloat. It really is not. It's not even what you would pay a teenager to work at McDonald's. So I guess these people are like, I'm going to get my $200 and I'm going to spend 150 of it on crack, and then I'm going to go and spend the other 50 on ramen. And that's how I'll be making it for the next month. It's unrealistic. People who are unemployed, not everybody is unemployed because they want to be. We have had record layoffs. People who have worked, they've paid into the system because, see, unemployment benefits are not a handout. People pay into the system. It is just like Social Security. People have paid into that system for years, and then when they finally do need it, we don't need for people to look down on them. Oh, suddenly you've become unemployed after you've paid into. As long as you're paying into the system, you're all good in the hood. The minute you actually need to withdraw, then it's crazy. It is just like you going to the bank and you putting into your savings or putting into your 401k or putting into whatever savings vehicle that you use for years. And then when you go to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, whatever, they look at you like, oh, well, you're a crackhead because you want to now draw that money out. No, I'm not, because I paid into it. And now I'm down on my luck, or I need to use it, and I'm taking it out. I'm doing a withdrawal. That's what that program was for. So to suddenly turn around and say, oh, these people, the reason they don't get jobs is because they're on drugs, is simply a blinder, and it's a smoke and daggers. It is a smoke and mirrors type of situation. Instead of looking to our legislators as to why, there is no economic stimulus, it's, oh, the reason there are no jobs is because you're on drugs and you don't want to go get them. Are you on crack yourself, Senator Hatch, is what I want to know. What kind of crack are you smoking? I don't do crack. I can't afford it, even though I work. I can't afford drugs and wouldn't want them if I could. But you must be on some of the premium shit, because really, honestly, the reason people do not have jobs is because there are no jobs to have. There is nothing to have out there. And don't bring up some, oh, people are just too good to work minimum wage. My friend, people are fighting tooth and nail to work minimum wage, below wage, underemployed. You go to a job fair, and there are not 50 people there. There are 500 people there looking for a job. All of them equally employed, 2, 3, 4 master's degrees or whatever it is. They're highly qualified people and still cannot get a job. And they're not on drugs. Because you know what? People who are on drugs don't manage to make it to the job fair. They make it to the drug fair, yeah. But they don't make it to the job fair, or the interview, or anything else. And it is absolutely abhorrent to me that any legislator of this country, any person who we have entrusted with the care of this country, would look at Americans and say, you're the reason this country doesn't work. There are many reasons why this country is not working, and the people that you're talking about are not those people. They're not the ones responsible. Trust me. They're the people who are looking to people like Orrin Hatch to say, how can you and your cronies in Washington, D.C. get together, get your heads out of your collective asses, and get this economy turned around so I can get a job, so I can support my family, so I can support myself, so I won't go on drugs. Because you know what? People who are desperate, people who are upset, people who are stressed out, people who are on the street, people who have these issues, they just might go on drugs. You know, if I lost my house, my car, my wife, my kids along with my wife, or my husband, vice versa, if I lost all those things within the space of 2 months, I might want to go out and take drugs. Call me crazy. But you know, to say that these people are automatically, the reason they don't have a job is because they're on drugs, is it's an insult to the American people. And I tell you what, as a veteran, I fought for Orrin Hatch. I'm a Desert Storm vet, and I fought for Orrin Hatch. And my husband is an Iraqi vet. He fought for Orrin Hatch. We fought for him to have the opinion that he has. We fought for everybody to have the opinion that they have, for the freedom for that. But it breaks my heart that that's what I fought for. Seriously. It does. Because that's not the America that I know. And those aren't the people that I know. Unemployed or not. That's not what I know. And that's not the reality. That's a fat cat sitting on his ass in Washington looking for an excuse not to do his job. And you know what? I know people like this because I have a job. And we all know that person that will pass the buck and bait and switch and will say, I don't know why we don't have the report right now. I think Debbie was supposed to do it, but I don't know. She said that I saw her at the water cooler, or I saw her in the break room. I'm not sure why we don't have knowing. We seriously know people who pass the buck, who don't do what they're supposed to do, and get paid anyway. We know these people. We hate these people. And Mr. Orrin Hatch, Senator, really, for you to even suggest that American people are not looking for work desperately, are not trying to take care of their families desperately, but are trying to look for JoJo the drug dealer, or Lil Man, or Pookie the drug dealer, in lieu of taking care of their families, is an offense. It's an offense against the American people. And honestly, instead of writing laws to or introducing bills to try and get people drug tested, we need to start introducing bills against legislators who commit these offenses against the American people. Because I know that while I was sweating in Saudi Arabia, I didn't see you there. And I know while my husband was 15 months in Iraq, he didn't see you there. But we were there for you. And now, here, years later, you can come and say, God forbid I happen to be unemployed. I'm a drug addict. Unbelievable. And as American people, why are we taking this? We can't just do these podcasts. We've got to vote. We've got to mobilize. We've got to make sure people like Orrin Hatch is in the unemployment line himself. Because this is an offense. It's an offense against the American people. For him to, what does he think about us? This is the legislation. Instead of extending some benefits for people who really need it, instead of looking into developing programs, instead of looking into developing My name is Serenity, and you have tuned in to Rant You, which is a podcast dedicated to ranting about some of the pressing issues that are occurring currently in society. And it's sad. First, a little about me. I'm 41. I work as a technical support supervisor for a major corporation. I have been married for 9 years. I have no children. My husband is also employed as a technical support professional. We are both Army veterans. And we basically just go about our lives, doing our work, paying our taxes, and we really don't bother a whole lot of people. Obviously, though, people are still bothered by we are bothered by a lot of things. So, my husband suggested, instead of boring him to death with it, that I bore you guys. Thus, this podcast was born. And I have a lot to say, because we have more than our fair share of straight ignorance that is happening in our society now. And I am more than happy to speak upon it. It's ridiculous. I can't even begin to express the amount of ridiculousness involved with today's society. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, so we are having our own issues as far as illegal immigration is concerned. We have a couple of pieces of legislation that are coming down the pike that involve cleaning out all of the illegal immigrants. We've got a lot of problems. We've got a recession, and if you don't think it's a recession, then let me lead you to the lighthouse of the blind so that you can get a room, because it is happening. We have poor education standards in this country. The health care reform is, another hot button issue. It's just so many things that are not wrong, but that are pushing people's buttons. And the way people are responding to this pisses me off. So I am ranting about it simply because I love my husband and he doesn't want to hear about it anymore. And I just have to express it because it's absolutely ridiculous the way people are responding to these things. I can't even believe. Rant You, a show for the perpetually pissed off, because sometimes we all just get a little pissed off. Tune in to listen to rants about politics, culture, and the everyday everything. Rant You. Check it out.
rantyou.net